Aura Sabadus is a senior journalist specialising in energy markets, and she joins us from London. First of all, Aura, describe for our viewers how this is affecting people's lives on the ground. Kosovo is freezing in winter.
Well, as your report has rightly said, Kosovo depends on just a few power plants that are very old, 50, 60 years old. These are lignite power plants, and they have been breaking down. This is the reality. And at this time, in order to compensate for the shortfall, Kosovo had to resort to imports from neighboring countries at a time when electricity prices are at record levels. Only a couple of weeks ago, prices were 300 euros, which is enormous. I mean, last year they were 70 euros. So you can see how much prices have been increasing within a year.
How are people on the ground able to afford that kind of price increase?
Right now, as I understand, prices in Kosovo are around 6 euro cents, so 60 euros per megawatt hour, which is a heavily subsidized price. So you can make the difference between the real market price of 300 and 60 euros. But at the end of the day, these prices will have to be recouped, and probably, as your report again pointed out, there will be a price increase probably later on in the year. But these are heavy economic inefficiencies which need to be ironed out.
As you rightly point out, I mean, someone's going to have to pay for it eventually, and Kosovo is already in an economically precarious position. How will this energy crisis exacerbate that?
Right now, all they feel is are these rolling blackouts, because the government last week decreed a 60-day rollout, a blackout, and for 2 hours, I believe, every day. Now, once we're over winter, there will have to be a restructuring of the electricity sector, and they will have to look into the inefficiencies, the underlying inefficiencies. First of all, they have to rethink the whole generation policy, because, again, even if it weren't for these high prices, ultimately they would still have to do something about this lignite fire generation, which is one of Europe's most polluting.
That leads me to my next question for you. I mean, this surely is going to spur a move perhaps to more renewable energies, cleaner energies, but that takes a lot of time and is also very costly.
Absolutely, it takes a lot of time. Kosovo had plans to build another lignite fire power plant, but I believe the World Bank came up with a study, and they found out that it would be just as efficient to build renewable generation plus battery storage, because when we have renewable generation, this tends to be intermittent generation. So it depends on wind and solar, whether the wind blows or the sun shines, and they need battery in order to store the electricity going forward. So really, they have to rethink the entire policy.
Such a difficult situation to be in, especially at this time of year. Aura Sabadus, thank you for joining us from London.
My pleasure.